bless the maker and his podcast known as
Trapped Under Plastic, where paninis are talked about at least twice for 10 minutes.
At least twice.
All right, let's make it 3 times.
That was the second time. Okay, that was the third time.
Yeah, Trapped Under Paninis.
Oh, I forgot that was the thing that we used to say.
Yeah. Well, it's a food truck coming to an urban center near you.
There's so many TUP like inside jokes. Like there's ducks. You know? That's all I can remember. Just the ducks.
Play-Doh snakes.
Play-Doh snakes. They're all John-isms, you know. That's what it is. All right. The reason why we had a little bit of a Dune intro there is because I got eaten by Shai Hulud yesterday.
Oh no!
I was showing a new friend the game, and another friend was with us who's been playing for a little bit. This is Dune Awakening. I was flying around in my shiny new duraluminum ornithopter, which takes 10 to 20 hours to farm for and make.
Jesus.
And I saw a spice blow, a big purple plume. I was like, okay, let's go look at some spice. We'll get some spice. And so
some fatty clouds.
Fatty clouds. So I set down my thopter, I bust out my static compactor, start harvesting some spice, and they're picking up the spice. And then, a worm always comes. That always happens. And then you get in the thopter and you fly away. The guy who was newest to the game did not get in the thopter. And so he stayed on the surface. And what happens is the meter goes red and it goes all wild when a worm is gonna show up.
He's right there.
And so me and the other friend who was more familiar with the game got in the thopter and we flew, a couple meters up in the air, 100 meters. So if a worm were to pop, it wouldn't kill us.
So my other friend, look at that dumbass down on the ground.
And so he's just like, okay, he knows Dune, and so he's like, okay, I'm not gonna move. And he didn't move. The meter stayed red. No worm breached the surface. And I was like, okay, what's happening? We're in a standoff right now. And so I'm like, okay, DJ, I'm going to come down. I'm going to get you. I need you to get in right away, and then we'll fucking fly off. I got boosters on this thing. We'll take off super fast. And he was not fucking getting in. And, after 3 seconds of delaying, I started to fly away. I was like, DJ, you're going to die. Screw you. And so I flew away, but the fucking worm came up as we were flying away, and it clapped all 3 of us. It ate all of us. And the thing about that game is if you die due to a desert reason, either a Coriolis storm or the worm, you lose everything that's on you. All of your gear and that fucking thopter.
You lost your 20-hour thopter?
I lost my goddamn thopter. I was screaming as the worm was eating me. I was like, oh! Oh! And it blew up. The shit blew up, and it was a memory that we formed together. But it was sad.
That dude's not your friend anymore.
No, yeah. He's
Fuck gone. You, Carl. God damn you. Oh no. I'm glad we have MMO Corner because I have an MMO Corner update too.
Nice.
So I played some Monsters and Memories, stress test weekend. They got another one coming up here in July. It's going to be 5 days. Oh, boy. Oh, it's so much fun. Well, and I found out, a buddy messaged me. He's like, hey, talking about Trapped Under Plastic on the Monsters and Memories Discord server.
Oh.
So they have an official Discord server. It's 10,000 people on the
Holy
Discord
cow,
server.
yeah.
And they have a content page for content, people that have made YouTube videos, stuff about their game.
Yeah.
And they're like, someone posted Trapped Under Plastic talks about Monsters and Memories. Here's the timestamp. And then the devs start commenting.
Oh, cool.
About it.
Cool.
And then on his official stream, the Monsters and Memories stream, because one of the devs, really cool dude, where he shows behind the scenes of him making stuff. So he just live streams of him doing stuff in the game. And he talks about it on there.
Wow.
And so my buddy was like, hey, he's actually talking about it on the stream right now. So I hopped over on the stream. I was like, hey, man, thanks for talking about it. He's like, I was talking to him for a while. He's like, yeah, you guys seem to have a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that you're interested. I'm like, dude, man, this is my jam. I'm already addicted, and the game isn't even out yet. This is bad news bears. So I hit level 12 on my shaman. Shamuel L. Jackson is gonna.
Oh my gosh, dude!
He's coming in hard and hot. Oh man, yeah, we went to a new dungeon. We killed a whole bunch of stuff. It's great because we have enough of my real life friends that all played old school EverQuest. So we have more than a full group. So at any time, we can get a group together. We can kill some name mobs. We can push the content. We can explore dungeons. There's no maps there's no maps in game at all for this game. But everything is created by the community. It's such a community driven kind of experience. You're reliant upon, being a decent human being to other people and collaborating and helping people out. And people make like physical maps. There's this amazing isometric map that someone had already drawn for one of the intro dungeons and stuff. And so like you find out like, oh, there's a named here in this room, and here's what here's what his placeholder is. Here's where he spawns. Here's the drops that he can have. Here's his loot list. And then later on, when enough data is gathered, what's the percentage chance of each drop and that kind of stuff. So it's like all the stuff for crafting, all the stuff for getting some gear and stuff. So it's pretty amazing. So now I spend my other downtime like looking up stuff on the wikis for like the crafting recipes and what things do I need to spend my time for next time I play.
Yep. I feel that grind as well. Like, there's a bunch of like fancy gear hidden around Arrakis, and people like know like where to find it and stuff like that. And so sometimes I like kind of get some advice in that way. It's like, okay, if you go to this particular part of Sheol and you go into this particular dungeon, like there will be a loot for like a really awesome cutter ray mining laser. If you get to the end of the dungeon, it's okay. Gotta check that place out later on and stuff like that.
So now you got to re-optimize because you are out so many hours.
Brother.
You got to catch up again quick.
The problem is that it's all like a progression, right? You start with iron, then steel, and then aluminum, then duraluminum, and then plastinium. And so like I make the perfect amount of each tier so that I can not waste time and then move on. I do not keep much excess at all. And so I lost all my shit. It was like all like, there's like the tier, and then that's like a fancy version of the tier. And it was all fancy versions. I was fully kitted out with that stuff. And so to backtrack, it's impossible. And you need the previous tier to make the next tier. And so I need to like backtrack 18 times so I can go up the ladder again. But the thing is I have like tools that'll make it a lot easier to do the second time. But it's not a matter of just recrafting the current set I'm on. I have to like recraft old stuff to get the new stuff. So it was like, it was killer.
You got to go dink, dink, dink in them old copper ores to make your way up the chain, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That is still cool, though, that it's kind of built in some level of speeding up the progression.
Oh, absolutely.
Times you've redone it.
Yeah. Like I have like a buggy now with a big-ass mining laser on it, and it gets so much ore when I mine with that as opposed to like a handheld thing. So, yeah, it'll be easier, but it was sad times at Ridgemont High when I got fucking chomped on. All right.
Fucking rip.
All right, speaking of MMO corner, we can move on to the RPG corner. So I'm playing an RPG of Star Wars. All my guys and gals are Force sensitives, and so like at some point I want to give them a lightsaber, right? I gave them the tools to make a hilt, and now they need the crystal that goes inside that powers the lightsaber. And so basically going on like a quest to get a crystal is like a highly individual personal thing. It's like it's morally challenging, and it's an individual thing, which is an interesting thing to role play in the context of a typical RPG because most of it is collaborative, right?
You're right.
I got 5 players at the table that each have to go on their own vision quest, as it were, to find their kyber crystal, and it's supposed to be a moral dilemma. It's supposed to like really challenge them ethically. And I was kind of racking my brain on how to solve this problem. How do I not just go through each person's thing, linearly, so that, like people are sitting around and listening. Although that's not an awful thing, because it should be interesting to the point where if you're listening to someone else's, like, it's not boring, right?
Right.
But it could be boring potentially. And so the solution I came up with was I have a choose your own adventure for each person that I've written down on pieces of paper. And so I hand all 5 players their first scenario, and it has an A and B choice. And they don't read the scenario out loud, but they read the answer to the question out loud. And so some of the players at the table, all of the players, have some idea of the choices that are being made and the direction they're going down, but they don't have the full context. So it's kind of like fragmented and like and hard for them to figure out what's happening. And so they can tell that, okay, Britt is going down a dark path right now because she keeps picking like awful options, but they don't know what the scenario is, so it's not totally clear. And then in the same way, I can do all 5 at the same time, so not waste a ton of time.
Yeah.
And I could also ahead of time come up with really cool situations that made a lot of sense for each of the characters. And so, like, for instance, when you make a character in this game, you have to pick a moral strength and a moral weakness. And so one of my players' strength is justice, and his emotional weakness is coldness. And so I had him in a situation where it's like your tribe found an imperial surveyor who was surveying illegal sacred grounds, and your tribe's solution is to execute him. But he didn't know that he was doing it illegally. He thought he was just doing his job. You know, it was not his intent to break anyone's rules. So it's like, do you join in as the sacred executioner, or do you tell the tribe that there's a different path? And so it's like these kind of, so he has to act like his character would act given his strength and weakness. And then based on that choice, then he gets 2 more choices. And then based on that choice, he gets 2 more. So each player had a decision tree of 8 options. And based on what they pick, it affects their morality score, the amount of conflict they gain. And at the end of the whole journey, they get a crystal that would then power a lightsaber.
I assume Britt just left a wake of younglings.
Oh, my God.
So many younglings.
So I debated even giving Britt good options anyway. I knew she was going to go straight bad on every single one, and she went straight bad on every single one, and I fucking loved it.
The maniacal smile I can picture in my head. Yeah. Oh, man.
It's so funny because Dan, who is her partner, did the exact opposite. He did every single good option, you know?
I think that was such a smart idea because especially, now here is my my challenge to you moving forward with this.
Yes.
So you were able to jump around to them, right? You'd go in a line, so nobody was getting bored by hearing the same thing over and over, just one person doing something, because you hopped around ideas, and they heard some parts of the information, so they're kind of piecing together in their head what's happened.
Yes.
But they don't know the full backstory. I think that's a wonderful way to do it, especially props to you for putting that much effort into that between sessions. That puts you already in a solid B+ tier as a GM with knowing no other information, because you are invested obviously in that. You care about this and you put the effort.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's so enjoyable.
The challenge moving forward, and I don't necessarily have an answer, but I have more of a request for you, is find a way to put the team in situations where they will want to learn more of the story of each other's. Like in a way that's maybe you'll luck out and they'll kind of do it on their own. They'll be like, they'll be in a situation, they're walking down hallways and be like, sometimes you have players that are proactive and be like, there's that you mentioned, or I'd heard something about something, about these people that were illegally, mining some shit. What's up with that? Or even give them incentive to maybe you don't have to take the reins and do the homework so much, but plan enough where you're giving them incentive for bringing up parts of their past or what's led them to getting their crystals, so it's integrated naturally in the story of them being together. Right? Because they're all like 4 or 5 separate stories. But how do you pull that into the joint story you're telling going forward as a team?
Yeah. It's interesting because you can't be on the nose about it, right?
Right.
You can't just be like, explain this. And so to think about have it come up naturally is interesting.
The easiest way I can think of, which doesn't make it easy, is you put them in situations where people from their background or things that related directly to the story that brought them here are now in the forefront of the group's missions.
Right, yes.
So they're kind of forced to confront some of their choices while the party is there and see how much is kind of leaked, right? And that makes the story not just their past, but also their future as a group.
Yes, yeah.
And that's an exciting thing, because otherwise if they feel like this was just a side quest and then it's done, it doesn't feel as weighty to the repercussions of the choices that they made. Like, oh, that's actually affecting how the story goes. Right. And it gives you good inspiration, because now you have all these fucking nuggets to pull from the choices they made. And it makes you feel like the work that you put into making those choose your own adventures is actually more researched and effort that actually will aid you further on in the campaign.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I was thinking about is that there were all these choices that never ended up coming up in their decision trees because they just didn't go down a certain path, and that's what Amber said too. And I was like, but these are all like little scenarios that I can just use again in the future,
Right.
Which is the nice part about being a DM and stuff like that. The one thing that I struggle with and that Vince brought up when he was here was that he was like, sometimes an individual player is the star of the show, you know. And that is a thing I haven't done yet, where it's like I've made maybe like one social encounter, like someone's responsibility. Like I wanted a person who was good at negotiation to negotiate in one situation, but I've never done like a multi-session arc where it's like, okay, we're on this player's home world dealing with their culture's issue, you know.
Right.
I don't like. I would struggle to do that in such a way where in my head it would feel like I'm not favoring them and it maybe gets a little bit boring for everybody else, you know. So I don't know how to balance that in my head. I've never tried it. Maybe it's not as big a deal as I think it is in my head, but I'm not sure.
We recently brought this up in the podcast Fireball the Gazebo.
Nice.
And it is a very valuable thing to do. What I like to do is I give myself any set of time. That could be 4 sessions. It could be, 2 months, whatever I want to designate it as. And throughout that time, I want each player, it could be a single session. It's the less time you have, the more difficult it is.
Right.
But I want each player to have a situation where their character will really shine. It's their moment. They're in their element. It gives them an opportunity to showcase what makes their character amazing and unique.
Absolutely.
And I make a little checklist with little boxes.
Oh.
And so I make sure it's like, oh, okay, as I'm prepping for this session, I check my checklist. Which person hasn't had one? Which would make most sense based on the kinds of what I already want to be doing? And how do I fill in some of the details of that session or that adventure or even that social encounter that we know is going to be there to really make it clear to them that it's their time to shine. And then you give them positive reinforcement and they get a few like good successes at the beginning to get the ball rolling, to make them feel like they're going to be set up to do stuff. And then at some point in that, you make them have to do some rolls or make it a little bit more difficult because it's not all just given to them. Because you want them to feel successful, but you also want them to be challenged in that. And in the challenge is where the characters really show that, like, oh, this is why I'm really so good at this, and how it affects the story. And so as long as I keep my little checkbox and I make a little star on my notes of like, okay, remember, this is Dan's time to shine. And it's a note to myself that I can reference in the middle of this session is to do that. And then I'm like, okay, everyone got hit over the course of these 2 months of sessions. And so we're still having a full, awesome adventure. And it's not Dan the story for 4 straight hours, but there's some portion in there that Dan is the main character.
Yes, absolutely.
And as long as you rotate that, people seem to have fun. And people really seem to cheer each other on, I've found, more than I would have expected when they see other people do well, because they know that it's not, it's Dan this week, it's Dan next week, it's Dan the week after that, right? Sure. And then it's not bad. Good thing you're talking about lightsabers, because I
what the hell is this?
Flick it, dude. Flick it.
Woo!
I got fucking katanas.
3D printed.
These are 3D printed katanas. There's a story behind the 3D printed katanas. A fan of the podcast and the channel found out that I like a lot of sparkling ice. He worked for Sparkling Ice. And he sent me a fucking gift basket. I got a fucking hoodie. I got a backpack.
You got a Sparkling Ice gift bag or a hoodie?
Yeah, I got coupons for free Sparkling Ice.
Nice.
I got coasters. I got a Yeti mug. And then randomly in there was also these.
What the heck?
And he said nothing about them. And they're just so satisfying. For those audio listeners, we have 3D printed katanas where the blade retracts into the pommel.
Like a lightsaber.
Like a lightsaber. They get a little bit tricky to put away. In the audio, there's a good ASMR here.
Is it good? I don't know.
No, it's really not.
I don't know what makes good ASMR.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a trick to get them to fold all the way in, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But anyway, I could not bring them.
Showed.
You just got your little chode.
Hold on, should I do one of these moves or am I gonna break it?
It's something about how they like line up in there because there's probably a little spot in the inside where they fit perfectly, and if they're not perfectly lined up, they don't. We could spend the rest of the episode talking about this, so let's just put them aside right here, you know. Look, I got a little. Mine's circumcised. Yours isn't.
I got a story about circumcision. No, I don't.
I wrote down here, fuck teeth. That's really all I want to say about that.
Yep.
In the last 2 weeks,
I feel that, bro.
I cracked a molar.
Oof.
And then just yesterday, I broke a giant chunk off of a different molar. My fucking teeth. They're made out of chalk now. One night, you just like, if you're gonna hit 42 years old and your teeth just fucking disintegrate in your mouth. So on Tuesday, I gotta go to the fucking dentist. That's all I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're feeling a little bit of the Dungeon Crawler Carl love. I don't know if you checked the
I did, yeah.
comment section. A lot of love for Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is a book series I brought up last episode. Mm-hmm. And I'm almost done with the second book already. I am just loving this.
Someone compared it to 40K literature. They were like, okay, I understand that John doesn't like 40K literature, but these kinds of books are no better. So what's the implication, kind of?
Yeah, I got that. I mean, you know, it's the internet. Everyone can be a funny, smarmy person if they want to, and that's cool. Everyone, I don't want to put it in words that Vince would use. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. But
here's why you're wrong, though.
But here's why you're wrong.
To use Vince's words.
This is also the exact opposite of 40K books, in that it is about fun, action-packed, page-turning, single point of view from the main character, instead of just a weightiness of dribble of lore. So it's a totally different kind of book series and reading, and I even like heavy fantasy novels, and so I respect those. This is just a nice breath of fresh air, and it's funny.
Okay, yeah. That's always good. It's good to mix up your entertainment, obviously. Like, you got to watch the shitty 80s movie, like Buckaroo, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, and also watch the serious Academy Award winners. You know, you can't, your diet can't just be Snicker bars, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason Shawshank Redemption is one of the best movies of all times. And it's not because it's all full of yucks. It's just a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah.
You get, but
what's the movie equivalent of a yuck?
Pineapple Express.
Okay.
That's a great example of a yuck. Okay. The movie's amazing.
All right, so I'm on the same page here with the terms.
With the yucks. What other things? Oh, Nova is right around the corner. We had a fun little meeting with one of the people on the board of Nova. Tom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got some tacos and some lovely Mexican food.
Yeah, that was great. And Tom's got a crazy life story. We're not going to bring into it right now, but
let's go over it.
I just wanted to hear about Tom's life because he's just a wild, he's a lawyer. He lives in Japan.
Yeah.
He's a court-martial judge for the Marines.
Yeah.
And he loves Warhams.
Yeah.
All these things add up. Really interesting dude. It was really fun to chat with him. Mm-hmm. Noah's right around the corner. I was reached out to this week to ask if I would be willing to volunteer some of my time to judge the Nova Open.
Awesome.
So I'll be judging the Journeyman group along with some fucking all-stars. You may have heard of them. On the judging panel with me is Sam Lenz, Steve Garcia.
Can I do one of these?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. No.
Did the buttons not work? Oh. Yeah, that's the official Sam Lenz sound. What's the sound for Steve Garcia? Okay. And last but not least on the quadrant of power is Riccardo Angostini. Oh man, it's very Italian.
It felt good. It felt appropriate.
Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. I bet that's like a good feeling of like validation, like a recognition that you are like the one that's for this role. You have the know-how to do it. Does it allow you to still enter into the more challenging categories?
Yes, I can still enter Masters.
Cool.
Because I am. Is Dave Taylor that reached out and asked me, and he said that he's like, you can still enter Masters. You'll be judging Journeyman, and I'm like, count me in. I know it is a lot of hours of work on Saturday afternoon and evening, but it's with good people. and we get to just get nitty gritty with miniature painting. So it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear from that experience, like what you learn about what other people value in mini painting. Because even in my small experience with that local store, I got to see what other people think is good mini painting. And so I'm curious what Ricardo thinks, you know,
Right.
and stuff like that. Like, what does he value when it comes to critiquing miniatures? So that'll be cool to hear about.
Right. And one thing that, because already in my head, I'm like, you know, like, how am I approaching this? What are the things I want to get into? Or how do I want to structure things? And one of the things that I really like to do is to have the four of us sit down right when we're starting, we're like getting all the models or whatever. And the first thing I want to discuss, and we'll see how much say I have in all of this, but it's like, I want us to set our own expectations and our own kind of plan of attack for this. So we're all on the same page, right? This is, we're judging journeymen, so not beginners, not masters. How, based on it being the journeyman category, should we value certain things and compared to others? Because I don't feel that the kinds of things you look for in journeymen should one-to-one translate to masters, okay? Because a journeyman, what I specifically really want to see is really strong foundational structural understanding of technical execution, understanding of volume, and understanding of color schemes. Kind of those are the things that I really want to see.
Doesn't Nova tell you loosely what to look for?
I believe, because I don't know for certain because I've not done it before, I
Okay.
believe they have a breakdown.
Yeah, because even Crystal Brush
sheet.
had like a very loose, like, here are the categories we care about.
Right.
And it was high level, but it was something.
Right. But I think that conversation before we begin, and we don't have to all agree, and we don't have to all come at it from the same perspective. In fact, there's a lot of value from each person having their own different perspectives as we come together. But I think having that starting conversation, foundational conversation, kind of gets our brains kind of locked into what we're doing and on the same page as each other.
For sure.
And that will help us. And because when disagreements arise, we will be able to understand where we are coming from differently because we've already kind of laid that out, right? And not just like, you're wrong about this. Well, maybe we're not even talking about the same thing. Maybe we're not looking at it from the same lens. And to just listen and try to absorb what they appreciate, where they feel faults are, and vice versa. And so we can have that conversation. I think that will help the whole thing kind of lubricate the process. And then just kind of go with the flow, feel how it goes organically. And as we've all learned from the great Roman Lapat, is to give respect and appreciation to every single piece that's painted, because that is a labor of love and that is countless human hours that have been spent. So to make sure everyone gets their a full, thorough looking over. Which the numbers, I'm scared to even see what the numbers are going to be like this year, because they've gone up year over year at a pretty high rate the last 3 Nova Open for the Capital Palette. So I'm excited about that. Also, I have been really thinking about trying to complete a new piece for competition for this event, which is like a month and a half away, which is a terrible idea. But I'm like, I want to do a bust. And we had talked about, from our last episode about showcasing companies that we love. And I was like, no time like the present to work on a Spira Mirabilis bust. Had a cool idea. We talked about it in our group chat a little bit, and we'll see if I can get it done. I'm probably going to have to do it as a part of a video at least, or an entire video, or multiple videos in order for me to get it done in time. There's always the fear of like I commit to it for a video, but then I also don't get the piece done in time for the competition, which scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to do that.
That's exciting, That's exciting to put some time into a piece that's not necessarily a GW figure, because you're going to have a different competition than Golden Demon, because you're going to have different thoughts and different considerations, and it's going to be like a different probably painting experience than it would be for a different competition in a different model range.
Yeah, approaching it completely different. Right, and that is part of the excitement for me.
Exactly.
It feels a lot more freeing. It feels like my shoulders aren't tense.
Cool.
But also, and the flip side of that coin, there's a lot more question marks and a lot more of questioning myself on the ability to execute to the level that I want it to be. It's one of the things of part of it, us being in this podcast, part of it is just loving miniatures like we do, is seeing so many amazing paint jobs, the box arts for all these things, and you have a vision in your head, being able to execute on that vision to the levels of all these amazing paint jobs you see can sometimes, like, you put unrealistic expectations on yourselves.
Yeah.
So
There's also this thing of, like, it's a different medium as well. So, like, when I was doing a lot of painting in the beginning and starting to get into competitive painting, I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna go into crystal brush. Okay, what should I paint? I'll just paint a bust. And then I get a bust, and I'm like, this is the second bust I've painted in my life.
yeah.
And I was like, I can paint a 32 millimeter model, but I don't know the skills as well for this bust. But you see beautiful busts,
right?
You know what the standard is,
yes,
and you know you can accomplish something on a smaller figure, and like bridging that gap is challenging. But that's definitely a vibe in competitive painting, just in general, is like trying out new things in the crucible of competition, which makes you fucking figure it out. I don't know if you've had that kind of like come to Jesus moment where it's like, you know, I don't know how many busts you've painted, but it's like, this is kind of a new thing for me, right?
Yeah, like 3.
I mean, like that's a decent amount. You got skills, and you painted that big ass fucker, which is basically a Warhammer bust with arms and legs, you know.
Right.
So you got the skills, but yeah, there's definitely a moment where it's like kind of a fish out of a water experience.
Yeah, there's certain things translate and certain things are different.
Yeah, right.
My approach is going to be, I'm just going to use a bigger brush and I'm going to hold the model further away from my head, so that way it feels like it's just a small Warhammer model. Right. So, you know, everything's in proportion. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Awesome.
We had something fun we wanted to share. This is the first time we're going to talk about it, and you're going to see it, you're going to hear it. Am I wrong in transitioning to this?
Can I talk about the garage sale for a bit?
Oh, fuck. No, yes, you can.
Okay, cool. So I announced it last week. We did a little bit of a garage sale here yesterday evening from 6 to 9. And it was kind of a shocking experience, honestly. I think the earliest someone got here for the 6 p.m. start time was 4:45.
Woo!
I was sitting there.
Fucking Black Friday sale.
I was painting this guy, actually, and then someone came in. I thought it was my wife, Amber, and it was like, he was like, did I miss the sale? I'm like, no, you're way too early. But apparently, like, he just saw the post, didn't want to miss it, lived an hour and a half away, and just like zoomed here the moment he saw the post without like seeing when it started. But then eventually he came back later and got here. Someone else showed up at 5, and so like at about like 5:30, I wanted to have some dinner.
Did you put a note on the door and like lock the door?
No, I did lock the door. I didn't put a note on the door though. But about at 5:30, I went out to walk the dogs because the dogs were here because Amber came with them. Amber went and got us some sandwiches at Jimmy John's. I walked the dogs. And when I came back, there was like a line forming on the porch of the office space because you can't get in the office after 5 because it locks. At that moment, I was like, okay, I did not expect this. I thought it was going to be a stream of like, 5 people in, 5 out, like at the most. But I posted it like on all my social medias. I posted it on like pictures of the products and stuff and their prices on local gaming groups like the Frozen North and stuff that. And so there was a decent chunk of people that were there that didn't even know who I was. They were just there for like they
just wanted the stuff,
the good prices. And we opened a little bit early, like maybe like 5:50 or something like that. And at that time, the line wrapped all the way down the hallway to the door, and then back from the door, like back to my door and my neighbor's one across. And so like it was like, I don't know, it was 50, 60 people, like in total, probably like 120, something like that, came through and did stuff. And the people that were there in the beginning were like, they got so much loot. Like they walked away with a ton of stuff. There was one guy, people are asking why I was selling a lot of paint. I have so many paint ranges. I don't need as much paint as I have. I don't use these things, and I feel bad just having them. Mm-hmm. And so I had the Duncan Rhodes 2 Thin Coats range just on sale, like entirely. Like I've tested them. I've streamed with them. I've used them in videos. So I feel okay selling them because they've gotten like marketing from me, mm-hmm. as it were. And to be, they're perfectly fine paints. I just don't need so much. But I was selling the paints for $1 a bottle, which was awesome because GW costs anywhere from like 3 or 4 to 8, Yeah. And one guy seriously just came through and just scooped up all the Duncan Rhodes paints. Every single one. I think it was like 120 all in a bag, and he just bought those and left. But yeah, the people that were there early walked away with a lot of stuff, and it was fun. I had so many convos. People asked about you a lot. They're like, "Where's John? Where do you keep John?" I was like, "He's back in the corner, or whatever." But they couldn't come in this room, but they could see the set through the window and stuff like that. And it was cool for a lot of people to kind of like see the space, and had a lot of great conversations. People were super thankful that I was like doing this, which felt kind of strange because they were giving me money and supporting me. But
You
it
could
was
give me more.
yeah.
You were really thankful.
Some people were like, they're paying in cash and telling Amber just to keep the change. So people were kind of like tipping me in a way, which was awesome, And it was an amazing experience,
Well, tipping Amber, you never saw any of that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, she took it and then immediately got cold stone. But it was just awesome, Like whenever I do an in-person event, whether it's like a paint and take at the source or like that fun social experiment I did last time with how fast people paint models or this thing, I'm always just so blown away by like how like hardcore the Minnesota audience goes. Like they show up in a big way, and it's humbling, and it's awesome. And so it's just lovely to meet all those people and get to see them. So speaking of actually, I believe I will be moved out of this office by the next time we shoot a podcast.
I was going to ask you that.
Right. And so this is why this is relevant, why I talk about it a little bit. And so the next podcast will probably be remote. And it may be remote for the foreseeable future. We're going to play around with doing the podcast remotely, which is a thing we've tried to avoid for a long time. But the reality is that I unfortunately moved further away from John, and so the drive would probably be 2 hours for him as opposed to like an hour and 20 like it is now. And that's just like not super doable, which is totally understandable. Mm-hmm. And so we want to keep the podcast going, and so remote is going to be the way we do that now. But there was some commentary from you about if it doesn't work out, we can figure out something. We can like do what we used to do, where we film, maybe 2 episodes in a time, and then not have to drive as often.
Yeah, I do not worry that the podcast is going anywhere, because it absolutely is not going anywhere. We're just in a fun state of evolution right now.
Fun.
Because like in order for a Caterpie to become a Butterfree, it first must be a whatever Pokemon's in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Are those actually Pokemon?
Caterpie, yes. That's Metapod. God damn it. Yeah. Those are the bug. There's the bug Pokemon. Okay. And then eventually they become like the cool insect Pokemon, but in the middle. They have this middle stage. And they just kind of suck. Yeah. So we're not going to suck. I mean, come on. But yeah, we're just going to try to get our sea legs under us. You know what I mean? Like we're just going to try to figure out what works well. We've got this new software for going virtual. It should make it clean and should be easy, and we're just gonna get the vibe of that. We're always concerned about the energy and the conversation and the real time interaction and all that stuff.
How natural it feels.
Yeah, we just love that so much about this being us live. So there is absolutely the real chance that it just goes back to that, and we find a way to make it work. And I fully believe that we would be able to do that. We would find a way, whether it's, we record multiple in an episode, or we find some other way to do it. And maybe I just drive one time and I'm like, honestly, it wasn't that much difference. Because it's like 35, 40 minutes from your house to here.
It depends on traffic, but yeah, minimum 30 minutes.
And so it's not like my drive plus that necessarily, because I would take a more streamlined route. So it may only add 20 minutes, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. It is more time, but it is not necessarily, something we couldn't make work. But we're going to figure it out. And so just bear with us as we kind of work through this. Know that whatever the next episode or the episode like after that are like, is the way it will be forever. Don't assume that. Also, we want your feedback. If we go virtual, when we go virtual, we are not going to do it like 1 or 2 episodes and then make all the changes based on that small segment of data. we need to get a feel for getting its own rhythm and then decide.
You need to practice too a little bit.
Yeah.
There's going to be some learning that needs to happen as far as, there's a lot of nuances that go on having a, remote conversation and stuff like that. So we got to figure that out as well.
But we do value your feedback. We do want
for sure.
Want you to know what's good, bad, or otherwise, you know.
There was some comments in my last video. People were asking like what's happening to TUP, but there was some other comments that was like looking forward to TUP returning back to a dingy, a dingy basement. And I was like, okay, what if we go back to a similar setup to what we had before, where there was a long table in between us. That makes it way easier to have a guest at the table with us and stuff like that. But that was kind of an interesting idea, because like obviously we changed this set to be more open so that we're kind of more facing the camera and you can see our faces more. But obviously it feels less like a conversation for us as individuals. But I had to know if I could get your take on that,
Yeah, man, I just liked its set dress like a horror movie. Can we have like, or maybe that tiny little Harry Potter nook? Maybe we gotta like squeeze in there, which is which is like one little light bulb for light, one little candle light, and so we're all hunched in there.
Okay, sure.
I mean, there's so much room for opportunity. We will find a way that would work for your space, that would feel, if there's a way for us to use this to mix things up, to get to a more, gritty, just two nerds sitting around your hobby desk or something too.
I think definitely though, like if it becomes a podcast where we do like meet in person again, whatever solution we come up with, it needs to accommodate a guest, because the current solution we have of moving this thing out here and having someone sit in the middle, and it doesn't feel right,
Right. Yeah, there is the nice thing of like when we were sitting directly across from each other, that meant the guest could be on the end and then they're right down the barrel of the camera lens and we're off to the side kind of a thing. Yeah. I think taking that into account.
Circular tables work very well for those kinds of conversations as well.
Right.
So a lot of options.
Yeah, we'll think about all the ideas. We'll come up with the good one.
Okay. All right. Speaking of new and exciting things, however, we have something we want to discuss that we're doing for the first time in this podcast episode, and that is the reveal of something we're calling the TUP Partner Program. So we have a lot of companies out there that we have personal relationships and also have products that we use and love all the time. We love the owners. We love what they do with the hobby. And we want to shine a spotlight on those people regularly for little snippets. Discuss what things we like about them, what new things they have coming out, and have just really short little messages from them in each episode. It feels more natural than talking about other companies and stuff like that, because these are people that we enjoy their stuff, like week in and week out in our hobby, and so we're going to try to do that going forward.
Yeah, and so there'll be these little short snippets. There'll be 2 in this episode, so you'll figure it out. Come on, we trust that you'll be with us on this. And to be perfectly transparent with y'all, we're trying to find a way to not have to do regular ads, right? Because we're all inundated online with ads, and there's mid-roll ads, and there's all these other kind of ads that we can't avoid. And we support these companies. We love these companies, and they want to support us too. So it's a way where for a small amount of their budget in their company, they can help support us, and it's perfect because we reached out to them because we already love them, and they're on board, and they're like, heck yeah, let's do it. So here's our first 3 top partners we want to talk about. Scott, you want to kick us off?
Yes, first one is Monument Hobbies. We love these guys. We love their paint range. They came in with a huge splash in the industry, and like what they make works, and you can tell because of just how much love like the community has for them. Like their paint just works for beginners. It's super nice and thin, and is also just strangely opaque for like how out of the bottle ready it is for base coats.
Next one is Game Envy. We both love Game Envy. We both use their wet palettes. I have my own Ninja Signature Series wet palette by Game Envy. I love that they make stuff with the hobbyist in mind and not just about gimmicks. They just try to find the things that they work and improve on them.
Yeah, and then the last one we'll talk about for this little segment is Cobalt Keep. I'm painting these minis right now, and I'm working on their bases because the models are done, and I'm doing them on Cobalt Keep bases with their handles as well. And I love those handles a lot because you can get to the base rim while they're still like held in place. And the bases have magnets in them, so they're ready to go in my cases right away when I'm done with the model. So I can paint the base rim, it's not in the way, and they're just nice. They're nice and cheap.
All right, hobby updates, Scott. I see 2 little spacemens over there from you.
Yes.
And 1 fat spaceman's from me.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Like your guy, his leg is as big as one of my models. But I don't know if it's going to be going on when this podcast airs. But last time I mentioned the Humble Bundle that I'm doing with Jordan Cuffey, Steamforged Studios. These are 2 of the figures from that set that I just wanted to paint up, and it's just the wit. It's the kind of painting that I love doing right now. These tight little 2-hour paint jobs where you explore a 2-color combination or a new scheme or something like that, and it's not challenging. You focus on like one part of the model and put most of your effort into that one part, and the other parts that aren't as important you don't put as much time into. And there isn't a lot of like extra detail on the minis. There's just the things that really matter. I printed them on the Ultracraft Reflex, not RS. I think we have just the Reflex. And
Hey Gears.
Hey Gear, that's what it is. And they all came out nicely. Not a single print failure with them. All auto supported. And like, I don't know. I have like 10 more that I printed out too. There's just one of the things I loved about it is just like they're just so. They don't necessarily seem like Star Wars minis. I kind of thought they'd be more Star Warsy. They're really just fantastic, generic sci-fi dudes that could be like in any kind of like space colony on some random planet or anything like that. I love the guy with the coins in his hand.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it on his back. He's holding a grenade.
Psych! They're not all coins.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had fun painting it.
They are the right amount of detail. You know, or like they're not boring, but they are very restrained in what matters and not putting a bunch of extra bullshit on there while still having enough detail. They look really fun to paint. Yeah, I can tell that it's just like you focused on what matters, and then an interesting, whether more of a monocolor scheme with this guy, and then contrasting color scheme with this guy, and they both.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, that guy is mostly a green thing got going on. Like, it's green in almost everything other than the yellow. But yellow lives next to green on the color wheel, so it kind of feels like there's a wedge of the color wheel that I'm using for that guy. And the other guy is more of a contrasting of hues. I wanted it to be orange and mint green, and so I used AK Interactive Pastel Green. But that color is so cold that it felt like it was turquoise. And so it ended up being more of an orange and tealish kind of thing in the end. I used speed paint, Army Painter speed paint on the green shawl of that one guy. I did like a white to minty green transition with the airbrush, and I don't know, man. I just really struggle with speed painting, contrast painting kinds of products on like larger details like that. And I really tried. I tried to like make the paint like pool where I want it to pool and stuff like that. And I don't know if it like continues to move and change as it cures, but it just looks so splotchy. And so I just basically ended up like repainting the whole thing.
I was like, it doesn't look splotchy. It looks really good, but that makes sense that you had to come through and that's a thing. I think the biggest thing that I figure out when I'm trying to do like a cloak or something that's larger that doesn't have a lot of drastic details and crevices and cracks to it is I try to like almost paint it like I'm painting with ink and just try to do a base coat with it. Don't even try to get it to like pool at all, because if you try to get it to pool at all, it will fuck you.
Oh, so you're coming at it with like a brush that's not that loaded with paint.
Yep.
So how do you like... So you paint a stripe, let's say, on a detail. You don't get the whole detail because it's not wide enough, or it's too wide. And then you paint a second stripe. Do you like get this line in the middle that's like an overlap of both stripes where it's like darker then?
I think the key is, well, if you get into something too big, that's going to happen. But what I try to do is I try to put enough paint on the brush where I'm just gently touching the brush tip so it's not flooding off. And so I don't have to go back to the palette. And so I can keep that wet edge moving. And I work from one side to the other. And you can even paint it like you're fucking Mr. Miyagi painting the fucking fence, you know, right? So like you're never letting that wet edge dry, and you got to work quick, and you cannot like take a moment away.
Right. The benefit of using a large quantity of paint in your brush is that it then gives you an extended drying time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So using less, that Arm Painter stuff, I feel like it dries the fastest out of all the ones that I use. Contrast, Express Paint, Speed Paint. That one seems to dry faster than the other ones, and so I would need to I almost want to add like a life paint extender to it to make it go faster. Right. Do you feel that way about any of these products? They dry really fast?
Yeah, the Army Painter one does dry faster in my experience too. Okay. Both Contrast Paint by GW is a little bit slower, but again, it based on which color. So sometimes it's like it's scary. The actually the one that's got the most open time that I've used is the new AK Interactive. I can't remember what they call it. I'm blanking on the name, but they have a new speed paint, and that one, that one you really have some open time. In fact, to a point where you kind of got to let it sit sometimes, because it's still got a little bit more time to.
I think that's good.
Activate, but it does give you a nice vibrant tone.
Cool.
So yeah, these both definitely stand out in nice, very popping colors.
Yeah, I want how I have a bunch of bases from different environments, like a little collection of bases. I want a 20-man collection of sci-fi models where every single dude is a different scheme. You know, I think that'd be cool to have. It'd be good fodder for RPGs if I ever decide to use minis in campaigns and stuff like that. But yeah,
any sci-fi miniature agnostic game, you're like, I got a model for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah,
that's a good feeling.
So I was doing a video for these guys, but the video isn't about how I painted them. The video is about how I learned to love RPGs. Because I 3 years ago didn't get it. It made no sense to me. And so it's kind of that video is for someone who was like Scott 5 years ago, who looks at an RPG and maybe wants to be involved, thinks they're the kind of person that should be involved. Whenever you try, or if you tried it once or twice, it just doesn't work out. It doesn't feel fun, and you're missing the point. That video is going to be for you.
That's a good. I'm looking forward to that video. That's a fun.
Kind of more of a video essay thing. I like to do that every now and then. I don't want to do it all the time, though.
Yeah, but sometimes whatever aligns with where you're passing your excitement and what's top of mind for you.
Right, yeah.
That's a good thing to talk about. I painted, this is a Saturnine Praetor. He is a HQ unit, Terminator HQ unit for the Horus Heresy, the new Saturnine box. Scott, he's bigger.
What the fuck?
That model is bigger than the Primarchs.
He is the size of a 40K Dreadnought. And he's an individual dude.
One man. I can't remember if I told you this or not. I hope I didn't, so you can guess now. Guess how many pieces that model is.
120.
To put it together.
It's 100 something, right?
78.
Oh, it's 78. Okay, that's so fucking insane.
78 pieces for one Space Marine. 78. We'll talk about that in the after party, which is the extended version of the podcast. We talk about a bunch of different topics for our patrons. We're going to talk a bit about my experience assembling that, but we'll talk about the painting here. He's a space wolf. And I had a fucking hell of a time. I did some research on what Horus Heresy or pre-Heresy era Space Wolves color schemes were. They're much more of a stormy gray. They're almost like a dirty gray with just a hint of a cool tone in the brightest highlights of the armor. And so I painted the whole armor up with three scratchy layers, and it looked like it was a black and white photo.
And when you hadn't painted the rest of the
I hadn't painted the rest of the model, and I'm like, this doesn't look like a Space Wolf at all. It looks like a fucking Iron Hands model. So it was the video is kind of explored not having it all figured out before you begin, and how you adapt and how you tweak and how you can kind of right the ship instead of ever having to start over. And nothing is so lost that you can't. It's just paint. And actually the fixing parts to bring it back up to feel more Space Wolves. I don't know why I keep saying Storm. Space Wolves was pretty. It wasn't actually all that difficult. So it was it gets a little bit more of that feel of the 40K Space Wolves in that scheme, without being 100% accurate there. But
How did you like freehanding what I think is Fenris on the middle of his chest with that rope right there?
fucking terrible.
Did you do it upside down? Did you like come at it from this angle?
No, I didn't,
Okay.
which would have probably been easier. But like trying to get letters correct while doing them upside down, I have
Yes.
zero confidence in my
Yes.
ability to do that.
That would have been hard. Yeah, but man, that fucking rope is right in the way.
I had to do fucking lore to look up what kinds of things Space Wolves write on their shit.
Yeah.
Come to find out, Space Wolves don't write shit.
Oh.
They're I guess they're more like cavemen. They just have like they have like runes and symbols and shit. So the thing on his banner on the one shoulder pad is just the different symbols I found online. That I don't know what they mean. It could just mean like General Tso's chicken. I don't know.
Yeah, right. It means eat, pray, love. Or something like that.
I should have put live, laugh, love on there. That would have been fucking great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was fun. It's just my scratchy method of nothing was base coated directly over black primer. Everything was over black primer. I tried out the new, as part of their upcoming Game Found campaign, P3's Pure Metallics for that gold, which is actually a mix of their pure silver and pure gold to give me more of a light, less yellowy gold, because I wanted it to be a more desaturated gold. Got in one coat directly over black primer. That stuff is like...
So do they have another metallic range that's not pure?
They have their regular metallic range
Okay.
that exists. This, a part of this new campaign, they're using the new technology of, it's the very, very, very fine ground pigments. It acts like Vallejo Metal Color, but not so watery thin.
Thicker? Okay, good.
Yeah, it acts.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, and they mix together super well. So I just made it shiny as shit, and then I put some contrast paint, some thin down, kind of a dark turquoise, and then just re-edge highlighted with that same original color to get that poppy shine. But yeah, he was a lot of fun. He took a while, but honestly, it took me a full. This is embarrassing. It took me a full workday to assemble that model. A full, at least 6 hours. It's so many pieces, and they don't like fit together with like grooves and shit. So you kind of like,
Wait, there's no registration for how they fit together?
there's very, very little.
Oh my god.
Some pieces have it, but not the really important things, like the angle of the fucking kneecap and like he's supposed to have a big cloak on the back. It's physically not possible to attach it.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like it's ridiculous. And the assembly instructions are sketchy at best.
Yeah. We discussed this at lunch when you brought it up the first time. I had this moment when I assembled a Lego kit for the first time in like, I don't know how long. I don't know, like about 2 years ago. It was like a flower. And like the way you put together one of the leaf petals was like super complicated. And then you went to the other like leaf petal and it was different. They made it different. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you do this, Lego? And then I was like, oh, because what I'm doing right now is the Lego process. Like this is the enjoyable part, the assembly of the thing. It's not having it. It's less so having it. It is more assembling it. And so I wonder if the specialist team that put this together, which I've come to understand is different than the regular GW team, I wonder if like they're like, we know some people genuinely enjoy assembly, and so we're going to go out of our way to make it more challenging. Now that doesn't excuse the cape thing. That's not okay. Mm-hmm. But like just simply having more to do in the assembly might be enjoyable for some hobbyists.
Yeah, and I can totally get that. And in that regard, if that is their goal, this achieves that. Everything fits together super snugly, and it's very satisfying and everything. But there's like, he's supposed to have this cable that runs from the back of his plasma thing to his back. Doesn't physically fit. Does not work.
So it doesn't all fit together super snugly perfectly.
It feels like there was just mistakes made in the engineering process, because I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was actually really it's actually a satisfying model to paint, because he's big and he is those big Space Marine shapes that are satisfying to paint. He just has a lot more detail going on in every little section. Mm-hmm. But I was really happy, and I actually this is like the first time and maybe forever I submitted the pictures for this for a Warhammer community article.
Nice.
I got it painted. I like busted my ass to get it painted ahead of schedule. Took pictures with a white background. They look mostly like shit, but I made them. I tried to in post. I did them as best I could, and they look solid. I'm not embarrassed by them, but it's just so hard to take pictures with a white background that don't like blow out all of the. It feels like overexposes, but.
Well, the background is definitely overexposed. That is the kind of the point of an infinity white background. The hard part is making the model look good, well exposed. Because,
Yes.
Because the temptation is to make everything feel not so fucking like blisteringly bright, but in doing that, you bring the exposure down on the fig as well. And
You're
because
right.
he's so dark and drab, I feel like it's even harder to not
Yes.
do that. My issue with the white is that you get these bounce reflections from the ground the model is sitting on up into the mini where all the shadows are supposed to be. And so it actually murders your contrast sometimes.
Right.
So that's a little challenging for me.
I see why they do it because of the style that the heavy metal team paints models. They paint everything with an all over light, right? So there aren't purposeful shadows on certain areas.
Yeah.
So
for the most part, definitely.
So in that way, it probably kind of aids them because it bounces up to areas to show, see, it's still turquoise under there. It's still the same light color.
Yep.
So it can aid. But yeah, when you're painting volumetrically with the specific light angle that this guy was obviously painted at, it does kind of like throw you off kilter a little bit.
Definitely.
For that.
Definitely.
I am also remind me, I'm going to talk about in the after party about painting near white color, so cream cloth, directly over black because it is absolutely kind of fun to do.
Absolutely kind of fun.
Yeah. Join the Patreon. You too can learn what absolutely kind of fun means.
All right, let's give some feedback to one of our patrons. If you're interested in getting some feedback on one of your paint jobs, you can join our Patreon, link down in the show notes or description below. That's one of the things you get for being a patron.
Wait.
You also have the opportunity. What's up?
This is the same one from last time.
Okay. While John finds the next one, you also have the opportunity to give us topics that we may use for a future episode. You also get access to the extended portion of the podcast where we discuss things like models that we love from other painters in our hobby and what we like about them, new things that we try out, and whether or not we're failing or succeeding with those new things. So you get about extra 20, 30 minutes of content of us riffing. So if you like the podcast, you just get more of the podcast. You can find that again linked down in the show notes below.
All right, this one comes to us from Steven Schaefer 4, not 3, not 5. And this is a Night Lord's Praetor. This looks like a old resin model, right? Old resin Forge World model.
Yeah, and he's probably like 1/3 the size as the model that you just painted for this episode.
Yeah, he's knee high.
Yeah, he's knee high.
So you can tell that these Forge World resin models, they're not quite as crisp and clean in the edges and details and stuff. But there is a level of kind of like endearment, I don't know, to that older aesthetic.
Definitely. I want to give you a little photo hack right now. So our modern phones take pictures at incredibly high resolutions. And one thing that allows you to do is you can actually take a photo from further away than feels natural and then crop into the image digitally and then send that photo to Reddit, to your Discords that you're on. And that will give you a much clearer image, because what's happening right now is his arm, the trophies on his back, his shoulder, the stuff that's extraneous to the torso is getting blurry and a little messed up. And that happens for a couple of reasons, but those reasons will get solved if you just back up a little bit further than feels natural and then crop in a little bit with your cell phone.
My favorite, the software that I use on my phone all the time for that, and it works really, really well, is the free version of Lightroom. So you can get Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, for free on your phone. You can get the extra bonusy shit and buy it, and I've never done that, but it is it works great. You can you can crop in, you can make sure the colors look exactly right, you can adjust the light a little bit, that kind of stuff in a matter of seconds, and it would go a long way. So let's talk about. I feel like we could use a bit more light for the picture too, because it's a very dark model, and I think because of that, because Night Lords are kind of hard to photograph too, because there's dark, and then you got like light white skulls, and so it can be kind of hard to not have those kind of get lost in the sauce. And I feel we're lost in the sauce a little bit on the lightning bolts. I can see them. I like your patterns and uses of them. You don't inundate it everywhere, but you have it enough to showcase them. But I would like them to be even a little bit brighter. I'd even go up to like almost a pure white or a pure white with a tiny thin line, and then you glaze over that with like a fluo blue or a very vibrant light blue, and it brings kind of the glow effect to it. It's a simple little thing to do those lightning bolts, to give them a little bit more saturation in a desaturated blue armor.
Yeah, I love the gooey guts on the base. I think that is awesome. I've never done that kind of thing on a base before, and now I definitely want to.
I want to know what those guts are made out of, because they look nasty as fuck.
They look kind of real. Also, to comment on the lightning bolts, I feel like the placement of them needs to be motivated. They can't just start in the middle of a thigh or in the middle of a shin and then progress from there. I think if they came from a sculpted detail, whether that's a recess, whether that's a spike, whether that's something, they need to come from somewhere, and then that makes them feel more natural. Other challenges with the lightning bolt is like his torso is surrounded by a bunch of bones and skulls and details, and so there's very little of his actual torso showing.
Right.
And so to then put also lightning bolts in there, just kind of muddies the model a little bit more, because it's so small of a surface area to do. So the solution is to maybe not do them at all in that area, or have very incredibly fine lines for your lightning, so you're not like totally obscuring what little torso there is. I feel like I want to see some edge highlighting on this model. You know, he's a Space Marine, and so he's got lots of crisp edges, and that helps to read the model. And I think that's probably the biggest issue with this model, is that it's a little illegible at times, because there's there's a lot of soft colors and stuff like that. Like the harshest thing is the lightning strikes on the model, and so some more definition with edge highlights and some recessed shades, so we can see where the details begin and end, I think would do a lot to make this model just like sing a lot more in photos, especially.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's one of the things that like has become kind of a catchphrase for you and I just over time, as we've learned how to try to maximize time for biggest impact on how we paint. And I think that's probably a pretty good bloodline that you and I have stayed on the same path on over time. Maybe not always in the execution or the techniques we use, but you got to think, what's the most important part of this model? What's the thing that is going to make or break it? What's the key factor in the model? And spend up to 75 to 80% of your painting time on just that. Mm-hmm. And then the other stuff does not need to be so labor intensive, because the model is going to be boosted to a much higher level there. And that's what my takeaway from this piece would be, let's say you spent, I don't know, however many hours on this. Let's say you spent 5 hours on this model. I would like 3.5 of those 5 hours to just be this blue armor. And if you did that, that means you would have done the edge highlighting across all of this stuff to make sure those lightning bolts look as crispy as possible. And then all the other bojangles on this guy, which there's a lot, can be a coat of contrast paint, a single little highlight on them, that kind of a thing, and the model would be really popping.
Yeah, especially for bone and for like zombie heads. I feel like contrast paint or a wash equivalent like can do a lot of work for that specific kind of detail, especially.
Yep, because I mean, you took on a model that, while he's not huge and the basic shapes of a Space Marine are not overly convoluted, there's a lot of shit on this guy.
Yeah, and especially in his torso. His torso has so much stuff.
Yeah, and all the back spikes with extra heads, and all the bullshittery around his backside. That's just like all these mechanical things in his lower back, and just like,
oh, there's more photos.
Yeah. Yep. 4 photos. So it just kind of like, And the other thing is, like, you always start with maybe not the very first thing you paint, but it's typically the first thing I paint. It's the most important thing. Because then I'm not rushed to get through it. I know that, like, I'm going to take my time. How much time? Is this a speed paint job? Is this something I need to replicate, 50 times for 50 more of these guys on this army? Is this something I'm not worried about time at all? No matter what kind of time constraint or lack thereof I put myself on, I keep that in the back of my head. But I always start on the most important thing first, because if time gets away from me, time can get away from me on the most important thing, and I'm still going to come out a winner.
Yeah.
If I do too much on these extra bullshitty things, and I'm just like getting flustered because I've spent so much time painting skulls and painting other skulls and painting other little details, then maybe I don't put as much time on the things that really matter. So it's just kind of a high level feedback to this dude.
Yeah. I love the lightning bolts on his back. I don't know what to call it. It's like the armor that like kind of comes over his head. The photo from his back.
That's where the plasma core is located. I learned that.
Can we believe you? I don't know if we can believe you.
I saw a picture.
What do you know about Space Marine?
When I was looking up pictures for B-roll for this goddamn video, I came across a dissected Space Marine video of Space Marine in Terminator armor, and that big weird shelf thing off their back, that's where the plasma core is.
Okay, well, where the plasma core?
Listen to my lore.
Accept my lore. I think you painted it really well. I think one thing I really like is how dark it gets at the sides of the edges. Like, you can see this big swing in contrast, and I think that's great. And also, the lightning bolts are kind of mostly in the middle, and that is a motivated choice, because visually what that does is it lifts the value, the brightness of the middle as well. So not only do you have a brighter blue underneath those lightning bolts, but you also have the lightning bolts that are mostly in the middle, and they can kind of spiral out into the dark things, and that would look really awesome as well, but they should get thinner and less strong. But that right in the middle, and they also have a nice little blend. You can see that bright core and a nice little kind of soft dissipation at the edges. I think you fucking nailed the lightning bolts on the back, the top part of the model. They look really good.
Thank you, Steven, for submitting your Night Lord. It was the appropriate model, because they are the best Space Marines.
Of course.
And that's actually a pretty badass model, so I'm glad to see it painted. Yeah. I think you did a good job. Let's quickly mention a couple other TUP partners real quick. Scotty Poo. First one is the Army Painter. You may have heard of these guys. They make the new Fanatic paint range, which we love, and I love the John Blanche paint set. And they have just announced that they are going to have singles available, singles of those colors, if you just wanted certain ones from the John Blanche paint set, available on their web store and at events they're at, and I'm guessing that means they will probably come to physical stores at some time in the future, but you can get them online.
Yeah. The next one I want to highlight is Roadgrass Games and their new lamp, the R9 Solo Desk Lamp, which if you're looking for a portable lamp for miniature painting, you can pre-order this lamp still, and we'll have it down below. I love Roadgrass's paint handles. Like, they're so ergonomic. I love the damped motion they have with the spinning. It feels so good. And I also love their commitment to light quality. No other hobby brand on the market puts out documentation about CRI, like light quality of their lamps. I love that they're dedicated to that.
Yes. Next is Steamforged Games, makers of the P3 paint range.
And Guild Ball.
And Guild Ball. I mentioned using the pure gold and pure silver on this model that I painted this week, and that is from their upcoming Game Found campaign, the P3 Paints Wave 2, and that launches on July 15th. I am told that this range will then complete the P3 range. So they have a well-rounded, fully functioning range, and they're not going to come out with a bazillion new paints in the future, although I could be wrong.
Maybe. And then lastly, we have Corvus Belli, makers of course, Infinity, but they have a new set for Warcry coming out. Pre-orders are July 28th to August 4th, and it's called The Song of the Dormant. And one thing I love about Warcrow is it doesn't just feel like a ripoff of another IP. It feels like they have an aesthetic direction for that game that feels unique, and that's absolutely true of the models in this new set when I was looking at it. And I'm starting to see display painters take models and make dioramas of Warcrow minis like on plinths and shit like that, like you would see at, say, like Golden Demon like unit category.
Yeah.
And so that's how you know for a fact the models are amazing, if display model painters are going out of their way to include them in cool unit dioramas.
Song of the Dormant. That's what I call my alarm music that comes up every morning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a song of I'm the Dormant in this.
You're the Dormant?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a song of the Dormant.
Nice. All right, on to the main topic. Last week we discussed model ranges that you may or may not have heard of and why we like them, smaller companies. And you reached out with a bunch of ones that you like, ones that we had not mentioned, ones that, I don't even know half of these. And so we're going to take a look. Disgusting animal. We're going to take a look, me and my fucking child over here, at some of your suggestions and share with you why we like them. So first on the list, Knucklebones Miniature from Christopher Rendever.
Yes.
I like that.
So I tried to put down the names of the wonderful YouTube commenters because we always read your comments, and this is kind of a reassurance. We read your comments, and then if we don't like it, then we'll put your name on here and we'll talk about you.
We'll make fun of you.
Knucklebone Miniatures, huh?
Yeah, it's a My Mini Factory link that was supplied, and these guys, I mean, the moment I looked at it, I got a vibe immediately, and it's this kind of like vintage, kind of like hand sculpted look. You know, it kind of reminds me of the '90s, but it's not hand sculpted though. Surely these are digitally sculpted, right?
Right. Yeah, they're digitally sculpted, but they have that kind of je ne sais quoi to them.
Je ne sais quoi.
Of this time gone by and designed in a very purposeful way. Very kind of, they feel like they'd be great for why can't I think of the name of the awesome Mordheim? They feel like amazing fantasy Mordheim models.
Mordheim, or the game that Don Haney was talking about called like Doom 1942 or something like that. Like that, yeah, that lives definitely in this world.
Yeah, they're a lot of character, not overly designed, but each figure feels like a unique thing. They're all 32 millimeter scale models. Wonderful options. Like looking at that little Skaven guy, he looks like he's straight out of like a 1992 blister pack from a Games Workshop, but a much higher quality. So this is great. This is the prime example of like the 32 mil-ish scale fantasy models that I want to have a catalog of, that I can go and reference, and I can print out some that it's just like I know the quality's going to be there. Hadn't heard of them before. Had you heard of them?
No.
But
1490 Doom. There's a model that's called the 1490 Doom Warrior Priest. So, yeah. So they make minis, at least ostensibly, for that game in some capacity.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we're seeing more of these games that are like becoming popular that have a level of miniature agnosticness to them.
Oh yeah, baby.
In them and Trench Crusade, I think we're probably going to see some recommendations later on in this episode from people that make Trench Crusade models. Mm-hmm. And it's like you have this certain kind of aesthetic that you're kind of giving free reign to sculptors, but you set an established feel for the world. Like it gives enough of a jump start that some great stuff can be made by a variety of people.
I wonder how they make it look so hand sculpted digitally.
I don't know.
If there's some kind of like thing you can do, like a filter or a brush, or if it's all just like the skill and the technique of the person doing it. Because it looks, they legitimately look hand sculpted.
It's probably a little column A and a little column B. You get a level of experience in that certain kind of aesthetic and knowing how you can fiddle with the tools in the blending software.
Yeah.
The next one on here, we're not going to talk about much. This one's by Brandon.Paints. It's Westfalia, because you mentioned them.
I did. That was one of my 28 to 32 millimeter ranges that are like super characterful and fun to paint in like a short little a painting session, like the guys I mentioned earlier.
So, Brandon, you get a C for your attention in the last episode.
We're grading you people now.
The next one we are going to talk about is Bombshell Miniatures. Is this Big Booby Ladies? Is that what we're going to be looking at here?
That's some of it. Definitely. I think that's Bombshell Miniatures bread and butter. But they have since kind of like moved out of that area into all kinds of different stuff. But one thing that's cool about this range is like they have like female versions of like classic characters from 80s movies. So
got Ripley in here?
I'm not sure about Ripley, but like gender bent versions. So like Blake Russell, kind of looks like a Metal Gear Solid Snake thing, or that character who has an eye patch from that 80s movie, and it's played by, what's that actor's name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. So this is kind of like a gender bent Kurt Russell from
Escape from New York.
Exactly, that freaking movie, which I actually saw for the first time like 6 months ago.
Yes. Oh, they got stuff for what looks like for Trench Crusade in here.
Oh, I believe.
Oh, yeah. These are like a female. Oh, wow. These are so good.
They have a vampire 75mm kit called Carmilla.
Sacred Calatera. Sacred Costalera. Costalera. Sacred Costalera. These are banging. These definitely look like they're for Trench Crusade.
Everything's out of stock, bro. What the hell?
Not these ones. Oh, go buy these ones. I am so farty today. Why am I so farty?
I'm so farty. I love this. There's the product they have called Counterblast. You can get it with a lunchbox.
Nice.
And it has like this vintage sci-fi feel, and the fact that you can get it with a lunchbox is absolutely hilarious. I love that.
You bring so many Uncrustables in that thing.
Dude.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Were you a hot cold or a hot lunch kid or a cold lunch kid?
Hot lunch kid.
Okay, a hot lunch kid.
A hot lunch kid. Yeah. My parents didn't have any time to make me a lunch, and I did not like to get up early in the morning to make my own lunch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, so yeah, I ate whatever the government gave us. That's what I ate. I turned out just fine, other than it may have fucked my teeth apparently.
Yeah.
Hot lunch made my teeth into chalk. Yeah, Bombshell Miniatures. They got a wide variety of stuff on there. The 32 mil stuff, like it looks really pretty fucking good.
You know what that is?
That's Furiosa.
We've got Delta the Wastelander. $4.
$4.
God damn, dude.
All right, what's the next one on our list here, Scott?
Let's take a look. We have Mokha Blue from... Oh, sorry. The last one was from Terrence Miltner. And this one's from Isak N. Mokha Blue.
Mokha Blue.
Okay, so this is one I want to talk about. The bottom... Actually, hold on. There's a few busts.
Yeah.
But there are some that I recognize specifically.
Yep.
Vesha, Lilith, Waida. They're from, oh man, I can't remember the name of that company, but they're no longer in business. But it was my patron. My patron had a miniature company for a long time, and he made a bunch of busts. So I wonder if this company picked up the license to sell these models.
That would be nice that they could still exist.
Exactly.
Yeah, these are gorgeous.
Dang, dude.
Models. They are, these display models, larger scale. Oh, I recognize the Bisa and Tori, the Dino Racers, where it's a lady in her like pterodactyl, and she's like hugging his beak, and that's a large scale model.
Oh, Bold Miniatures. There it is. You can see the watermark in that picture still.
Okay.
So yeah, those are where those models were from originally, and they have some originals of their own, like Eneku, who looks like maybe potentially a Native American, or maybe not necessarily Native American, but just like some kind of tribal person. And we also they do the thing that we mentioned last time, not being a super big fan of, which is they don't make their bust essentially the top half of a 110 millimeter model. So like they have no arms. It's just the torso and the head, which is kind of like what you want to focus on when you're painting a bust. So I appreciate that for the model Eneku. There's no like arms and other things to kind of get lost in sometimes.
Yeah. There's good variety looking through their entire catalog. A good variety of different kinds of models to choose from, both large scale and bust. So this is a great, like, high quality stuff.
Hand sculpted too for at least the two originals that I'm looking at right now, the Eneku and the Leo Queen bust. Those seem both hand sculpted, and so does Jez, I think.
It's a great example of one that I want to have. This company I want to have bookmarked, because sometimes you're just kind of in the mood for some kind of thing, and you just want to browse and find something that aligns with what excites you currently. And then just grab one. So
yeah,
Mokha Blue, good choice. I had never visited that site before.
This is one I've never heard of. Yeah. And they also do like little, I love this little diorama thing, the lake elf and the fairy.
Yeah.
You see this? It's just like holding on to the hair of the fairy and stuff like that.
Coming out of the water.
Yeah.
Some great little scenes too. Yeah. Next one is also by Isak N. And this is Baron's War, which is which is a specific range from the company Footsore. So Footsore is the name of the company.
I thought it was War Games Atlantic. What's Footsore?
I don't know. That was the website that I went to.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is the actual web store that sells the models. But I believe if you look at the boxes.
Oh, it's War Games Atlantic.
Yeah.
Oh, we know War Games Atlantic.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But it's still a model range that they make, and it's kind of more of like a, what would you call it? It's a medieval, but like a low fantasy medieval kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it feels very medieval, very Crusades era-esque.
You got peasants, you got maybe some foot knights and things like that.
Yeah, this is and they're in plastic, it looks like.
Yeah.
So that's nice. So this is very much like, this is kind of my jam of like my first introduction of being a young kid and going to the one store in the mall that sold little pewter miniatures, and it was a lot of this kind of stuff. A lot of low fantasy, a lot of Crusade knights with their big cone helmet, or not cone helmets, the cylinder shaped helmets,
Right, big
that kind of thing.
Bucket helmets.
But like a little bit more modern take. I'm guessing a little bit higher quality on them, but there's a wide variety. You ever need a bunch of different foot soldiers for a variety of games, or cavalry, different types of them. Peasant levy, bro. Let's go halvesies on a peasant levy.
This is like Bretonia from GW
Yes.
in the 90s.
Yes.
And it's also, the best part is that it's GW 90s prices as well.
Right.
You can get like 20 dudes for $35 or something like that. What is it, 20, 15? It's hard to tell. But they're not expensive. They're low fantasy. They're just nice, simple sculpts. So if you're like doing some kind of like thing that would, do you think this is for a game? Probably Baron's War.
Yeah, I'm guessing it is a game.
Oh yeah, there's a book right there. Yeah, it's okay.
You can get the PDF right now, Scott.
Yeah.
Let's read the rules live. So yeah, but they're also very versatile. I always like having some kind of fantasy models that are versatile. Whether I want you to get some stuff for a D&D campaign or any miniatures agnostic game, these are the kinds of models that I'm like, okay, yeah, these can fit right in.
You can buy a castle, dude.
Who doesn't want a castle?
Fortified hospital. It's got friggin' spires and stuff, dude.
Hospital. There's no H in that word.
You're right. Harry Potter. They make a set of shield decals. I love that. I think they probably match the exact size of the shield, and you can just plop these on the shield to get a lovely like quartered look or stripes or whatever it may be. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and then you can add a little like a wash or a little bit of bandana damage on top if you want to. You want to go go try hard mode, but you not have to hand paint all those, quartered paints. I know what old Wordle terms are.
Old Wordle.
I know old Wordle terms.
Is that a Pokemon too?
Yeah, that evolves into Ward Wordle.
All right. Should we rate these out of 10s? Five 10s.
All right, let's go back. Knucklebone Miniatures out of 10 tendies. Out of 10s.
We're going 10 10s?
Knucklebone Miniatures, I gave them 7 tendies.
That is literally the tendy amount I was forming in my head. 7. Westfalia, 9.
Bombshell Miniatures,
6.
Mokha Blue, 8.5.
I'll say 8. 8.
Baron's War,
6.
6 tendies.
6 tendies.
Because I'm 6 tendies means you go back again.
Right.
Next one is Daniele Found Miniatures.
From Shanna Fondren.
I think it's Danielle. Fuck. I don't know. Shanna Fondren 3554 sends this one in.
Gotta get the numbers in there.
I think this was the one that I subscribed to.
Look at the Sherlock and Watson model.
Bro.
So these are display model ranges. Definitely got some whimsy to them, Got some.
This feels, because when I think Shannon, is that right, Shannon?
Yeah.
I think Shannon saw that I talked about the Spira Mirables and says, hold my beer, you got to check this out.
Yeah, dude.
And I had not heard of this, and this excited the shit out of me. It is Danielle is the sculptor. She sculpts all of these things, and all of them are like sold out. So I'm guessing like you have to be on a list or you've got a pre-order or whatever. So much character, very, very much like a whimsical fantasy feel, like you said, but a variety of different topics too.
Yeah, they have one called the Old Lady called Cruella de Vil, and she has like 2 dogs on her shoulders and furs, and her face is so like worn and aged. That looks so good, dude.
There's actually one called the Little Mermaid. Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
They have Quasimodo, dude. Shannon, how do you get away with
3 little pigs?
Doesn't the big bad Disney come for you?
No. I would imagine because some of these are fairy tales, from ages gone by. They probably don't have control of, like, they don't. When I say Little Mermaid or Quasimodo, they are not the Disney versions. Like her own take on this, and they do not look like.
But Quasimodo is a story, I thought, written by Disney. And
No.
So is the Little Mermaid.
Quasimodo is the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I know.
That goes back to like the 1800s.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty
Are you sure about that for the Little Mermaid?
Little Mermaid,
Cruella de
maybe
Vil?
not. Maybe not. 101 Dalmatians,
Yeah.
maybe. But
Okay.
But also they only go for so many years and then they fall off. But like saying the Little Mermaid, but not actually like making it Ariel, I think you're fine.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's a Freddy Krueger model, but he's like a cute, like cartoony Freddy Krueger with a giant ass clawed hand.
Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a lot of like fairy tales related stuff. Not just they're not necessarily like about fighting and war and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of fun here. This is 9 out of 10 for me, dude.
I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 tendencies.
This is 9 out of 10. The quality of the sculpting and the character in there is very, very impressive. You got the next one, bud.
We got another one from Shanna Fondren. It's not Shannon, it's Shanna.
Shanna. Sorry, Shanna.
NomNom Figures.
Maybe Shayna.
Shayna.
Shit, okay, this is wrong.
Okay, so this one you mentioned, and it kind of reminds me of Nuts Planet that we referred to last time. A lot of very popular IPs. STL sculpting. A nice contrast from the last one we just looked at. Very digitally sculpted, very clean. Like
on the nose.
Yes. Yeah, right, yeah.
Earthworm Jim. Fuck yeah. The
Earthworm Jim. They got
Chrono Trigger.
Near Automa 2B.
A lot of video game stuff. Warhammer Waifu. Huh. Yeah. Like, very well done. Certainly IP infringement going on here.
Certainly.
The actual links, when I went to find this page, this NomNom page, they don't have a website. They've got, you can find an Etsy store. You could find like a My Mini Factory. You could find some things that were like, just like they're playing a little hot potato, right? They can't stick in one place too long.
Yeah.
They're gonna get fucking grabbed because this stuff is fucking sweet though. Like if there's a certain thing that you like say you like painting miniatures, but you also like certain video game characters or certain anime characters or whatever, like you could find some badass stuff here. Yeah, you find one that looks like it's from Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's Baldur's Gate stuff. There's Raiden. There's Pokemon. The problem that I have with this stuff sometimes is that the product image is like this fully colored, fully illuminated 3D render of the mini, and that I don't know, it removes something about the mini painting brain for me. Like I would love to see a physical model of it. It wouldn't look as good, like for sure.
It's weird because some of them have it, but not all of them. Like I'm looking at.
There's a physical miniature anywhere? I haven't seen a single one. Yeah. Am I blind? Okay, I see one now.
Yeah, Shadow Heart from Baldur's Gate 3. It's actual printed resin model.
Where did that go?
Again, it's all over the place because who knows?
You got to keep moving, dude.
You got to keep moving.
Dude, Darth Revan! Yes, 10 out of 10 tendies for me because Star Wars.
I'm glad. Here's what I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna rate this one. I'm glad that something like this exists because we get to actually paint a badass version of something that we already care about. I like that exists in the world.
Yes.
And so I'm going to give it 8 tendies for NomNom. Although I'm not associated with NomNom in any faction, don't come after me. Square Enix, Disney, everybody.
Yeah.
Pokemon people.
They call them garage kits. Have you ever heard the term garage kits?
Yes, I have, but that's not what I picture when I think of garage kits. But.
Yeah, I think kind of more like a mech kind of thing. I mean, I keep going. There's so many.
Yeah, we could spend all day on NomNom. So if you guys got some time to waste at like the airport or the DMV, check out NomNom. X one is by Timothy Thorne 9182. Hi Timothy, you've got Axis Mundi for us here.
Ooh.
What is Axis Mundi? Okay. This is anime booby ladies.
Anime booby ladies. Oh, I think I've seen these models before.
I don't know what. Do they show the actual model? Oh,
do.
wow.
And painted.
Wow.
At least the one that I'm looking at is they have the concept, they have the STL, and then they have the painted version.
Wow. These are really cool. When I like just looking at the sculpted models, the quality of this in resin.
Bro, what do you think of when you see a model like this with this kind of photo and that kind of casting quality?
It looks an awful lot like Kingdom Death.
It does. It looks like, hey, like if you want more Kingdom Death goodness, this feels like it's very similar.
Yeah, that is a good connection point. I mean, some of these are like more,
goddamn,
like actual like display quality scenics more than Kingdom Death is. So that's a cool option.
Oh, are they a larger scale?
I don't know. I don't know what scale these are.
Okay. I see a bust. They got a bust. Okay. Let's see what the scale is. Noriko. Through the Waves. They do two. Okay, so they do limited runs like a lot of these smaller batch guides do. It doesn't say 50 millimeter thematic base. Yeah, 75 millimeter resin kit for at least this one, Noriko. Oh man, look at this paint job on Noriko, dude.
Holy shnikes.
I don't totally know what's going on, but I like whatever is going on.
There's some kind of sunset happening there out on the waves.
Exactly. Some kind of, lots of oranges and blues. She's kind of like on a boat, paddling in the middle of waves, crashing on her little ship. But man, yeah, if you're in need for more companies like KDM, this is right.
I mean, the quality of this, and there's a variety. They're mostly females, not all scantily clad. Some are, but interesting scenes. I'm super like one of those things. Is like, oh, super cool if this exists, and I didn't even know about it. So it's kind of like this exciting moment of what amazing other models are out there that I never even heard of. Right? They don't get on our radar for some reason or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if I can add to a mailing list for this shit too.
This is
damn it. This episode is going to cost me so much money. Next one is by ASL Baron 1, and he brought us GCT Studios, specifically Bushido.
We know this one.
Bushido is one of those companies that if you go to a convention and you see the booth that's got Bushido there and you look in their display case at the models, you're like, fuck yeah, these are high quality, little bitty models. 28 millimeter would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you go online and you go check their website, and their website is doggy poopy. Did we rate the last one? I don't think we rated it. I gave it 8 out of 10.
I give it 9.
Axis Mundi. Oh, this is your high tendy point.
Yep.
So Bushido, the tough thing about Bushido is it's kind of like you got to trust us. The quality of the models are good.
They're pewter models.
Yes.
I actually have a box of them. I painted one mostly in preparation for painting an East Asian character, just doing a little experimentation with skin tones.
Practice.
Exactly. The one thing I want to mention about Bushido actually isn't about the minis. It's about the game, kind of at a high level. I think it's really cool. So when you go to attack someone in Bushido, both players, they hide this information and then reveal it later on. You like bid how much of your resources you want to devote to attacking and what you want to devote to defending. So when someone tries to hit you in that game, you can also hit them at the same time. But if you both like go full on aggro, you're just gonna like kill each other in a way.
Nice.
And so it's kind of like this, I forget what the term is.
It's like a cup game, the shell game, right? Where it's like which ball is because you know.
But I like that because it gives you agency as the person who's being hit to like actually do some damage back, or you can kind of bluff a little bit and go full into the defense and stuff like that. So that's a really interesting combat mechanic that I haven't seen replicated in any other game so far. So it's cool. It's interesting.
It kind of feels like a little bit of a dance, you know?
It is, and it should feel like that. I think that is definitely their intent.
Bushido are cool models if you're like having a wide variety of different Eastern themed kinds of characters and monsters and really showcasing, different regions. This game is for you. So definitely worth checking out. Thanks for bringing that up. I feel like Bushido should get talked about more.
I'm going to give it 6 out of 10 tendies.
I get 6 out of 10 tendies.
Goblin King Games. I know this one as well.
Moonstone, baby.
Moonstone. Eon's Battles. He loves this game. He talks about it all the time.
I've heard good things about the game itself, and there's some good community. I think they've won some awards for the game, and the models are, I'd say, about 32 millimeter size. They're slightly bigger, so they're like a little bit more fun to paint, and they're not super tiny. Very fairy tale aesthetic and feel to them. Certainly have their own look and feel. Some of it's weird. Some of it's a little bit more, common understanding. But some of it's some of the fairy stuff is really funky and unique take, and I appreciate that. They got a lot of fairies, sprites, fauns, gnomes, that kind of things. And they also got giants and gnolls. That's where I'm going to go, or trolls.
You made a joke without realizing it. You said they're weird. And I think that this company reminds me a lot of Malifaux, actually.
Yes.
Made by the company Weird. Like look at this model, right? That could be a Malifaux mini, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
And there's more. Like all the ones that come in this box, I'm in the human, the Dominion human section has this kind of I don't know if it's Baroque era, but big dresses, bodices, corsets. Cobblestone roads. It feels like, I don't know if it's 18th century or 17th century England. It has that kind of vibe, which reminds me a lot of Malifaux. Even the font of the word Moonstone, it looks like it could be a weird product, you know?
There's certainly a level of unique design for each faction that is seen throughout, and they don't one-to-one translate for each faction, which I kind of appreciate. I kind of like how they each have their own design language as a faction, and I really, really like that. So, good call, ASL Baron 1 on Moonstone and Bushido before it. Gave us both of them. I give Moonstone, just on the models, 6 out of 10 tendies.
I'm going to give him 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10dies.
I'm trying to find the undead spooky boys.
Oh, I don't know if they have that. Do they?
I don't know.
I'm going to keep moving here because Trevor J5126 has brought to us Fantasy Cult Miniatures. And I believe, if I remember this one, this is the one that feels like it's right out of 19... No, I'm wrong. I quit talking.
I haven't heard of this company before.
I hadn't either. And so they make what appears to be fairly high quality...
Yeah. What do you want to call it?
Warhammer adjacent?
Oh, I actually know this one because Rodrigo Ocore painted one of them.
Okay.
If you go to the gallery section of the website, you can see a step-by-step by Rodrigo Ocore. It's actually for free. Oh my God, I love the way this man paints.
Yeah.
Rodrigo had my babies. But yeah, they're Eldar equivalent miniatures, but they have a unique spin on them.
Yeah, they're like dial up the anime influence just 10%.
Yeah.
Right? It's not over the top, but it's just this extra drama to it. Oh, dude, the fucking elven archers? Holy balls.
Oh, yeah, there's more than Eldar. I was wrong. There's also fantasy stuff as well.
Yeah, they got, and they've got what looks like
humans, too.
Yeah, those humans that look very Bretonia. Which are the ones that have the poofy shoulders and poofy pants?
The Empire.
They have that. 164 items on there.
Oh, there's a steam tank equivalent as well called the Armored Galleon, dude. Oh my God.
Wow. I really like this stuff. This stuff is well designed, not overly detailed. Their own, 20% different than GW.
They have a vampire.
They have vampire?
It's called Vampire.
It's called Vampire?
€7.
I mean, that is a good price to pay for any vampire.
Oh, it's an STL, though. I thought that was...
Oh, I see him. He's called Vampire.
He's called... It looks like they have an undead range. I'm seeing some skelly boys and a vampire. Got some zombs. Got some bat people.
Oh, yeah, zombers.
Oh, okay. There's a necromancer for you, brother.
Oh, I like that necromancer. He's got bandages on his legs. He's got a little bit of leprosy. He's got a little leprosy going on, and I appreciate that.
Just a touch of the
Zombie
old
dragon,
leprosy.
zombie giant. Okay, I like this. Oh, did you see the assassin, dude?
I didn't. I lost my spot.
Yeah, 2 assassins. There's a male and a female. Okay. You know it's a good sign when you just keep wanting to scroll to the next page?
Yeah, this is solid stuff.
This is I'm glad that I found this one. I had to bookmark this one too. Fantasy Cult Miniatures. It is not exactly like, oh, we are on the nose copying GW stuff. They look uniquely their own, but they're close enough to that aesthetic where you could fit them in if you wanted them in the army, but you don't need to play Warhammer with these models.
Yeah.
I give Fantasy Cult Miniatures 7.5 tendies.
7.5.
7.5 tendies.
The thing that makes it so similar to GW isn't necessarily the modeling style. It's just the fact that there are like very obvious 1-to-1s for like every single thing in a GW range. Like I can tell that, okay, these are skeleton warriors. These are zombies. Okay, this is a demon prince. These are the jester kind of Eldar people. So it is obvious what is going on here, but it doesn't mean that the models themselves aren't amazing. Like they don't take GW figures and then sculpt on top of them. These are all like made from the ground up. You said 7.5?
I gave 7.5.
I'm gonna go 7. 7 tendies out of 10 for Fantasy Cult Miniatures.
Okay. Next one by the same Trevor J5126. So we'll see if he's 2 for 2 here. Golden Dragon Games.
Ooh, got kind of a military look here.
Right. This is one of those where I wish they learned how to do websites. I'm struggling here, Scott. Are you struggling?
It remains to be seen. Yep, I'm struggling. So I went to the storefront.
Don't go to the storefront.
No, because it doesn't work.
Go to the My Mini Factory page.
Hold on, it does seem to work.
It kind of works, but it gets lost and you can't find your way back. It's like a labyrinth.
Yeah,
a labyrinth. So go to, how do I find the My Mini Factory page?
It's right on the website.
Yeah, right there, main page, My Mini Factory store. I just want to look through actual. Oh, God damn it!
We got a few factions here: United States of America, the Holy Roman Empire, the New French Republic. Empire.
Scroll down to all objects, and so you get to see the actual renders.
Ooh, big old tanks.
Yeah, there's
kind of squatty little guys.
I like this. I like the little bit squatty, not overly designed, but the unique character on each of them. Like they're fun little tanks. They look like little rattling tanks.
Dude, the British Empire automaton infantry. It kind of reminds me of that one character from Return to Oz, the sequel to The Wizard of Oz, where it's the Tin Man soldier who you have to like wind up to like, kind of like, operate. But like not as like fat and useless, but it's like kind of like that as a unit. Actually, you know what? Remember the Sandman from Hellboy?
Mm-hmm.
That has like that's what these guys remind me of. The automaton infantry.
The overall aesthetic, especially on the vehicles, the tanks, but pretty much everything. This is a deep cut, and most people aren't going to get this. This reminds me of the art style of Metal Slug, which is a video game.
I don't think it's that deep of a cut.
From Neo Geo. Are you a Neo Geo fan?
I've heard of Metal Slug. I haven't necessarily heard of Neo Geo though.
Yeah, that's it's the original game company that it came out of. But yeah, I like this. There's just like a little bit of a cartoony aspect to the design aesthetic that makes it feel not so boring and like real world.
Yeah.
But not so much that it doesn't like it's too silly. Like you could use these for a wide variety of games, and I really like it.
There are some things in this range that I'm like really connecting with, but the majority of it I'm not connecting with. So I'm going to give it 5 out of 10 tendies with an asterisk that this is going to really work for some people.
Yes, that is a really good asterisk. Like I'm not typically a big fan of generic ass tanks and like trucks, transports. Like most of that kind of stuff just doesn't gel with me. But for some reason, their version of it I really like. And so because of that, the characters in the individual like infantry and stuff doesn't do it for me entirely. I don't dislike it, but it doesn't wow me 100%. So I'm going to give them 6 tendies, because you got me. If you can get me on tanks, you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
I like. There's several units that I am very much so into.
They're totally not Deathcore Krieg models. Are really nice.
Oh, yeah, the Holy Roman Empire, the Sturm Pioneers. Yeah, they seem kind of like that a little bit. The big trench helmets.
Trench helmets.
All right, next one from Monin or Monu Baines 6184. Ignis Art.
We know Ignis Art, right?
We know Ignis. All these characters are Eastern European folklore references. Maybe not even references. Display models. I think almost all busts.
Mm-hmm.
Slavic legends is what she refers them as. Actually, she has a few ranges.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ranges. Yeah, there's busts. There's that vampire one where lady vampire is trying to bite other lady, and other lady's like, no. And other vampires lady's like, yes, I bite you now.
You know, okay, I would love all of these websites to do this. If you have a small company that makes minis, basically, if you're not GW, Army Painter, or like any of like the 10 big ones, I want your web store to have an option where I can just hit all and look at everything on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Let me scroll. Because if you're the kind of person, maybe you don't know about a lot of other ranges, you want to just kind of like take in what someone does. It's so annoying to have to pop in and out of subcategories. Just let me see the whole damn thing at once so I can take it all in.
And most of the time, the subcategories have like 2 models in them.
I know. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. But yeah, I've seen these models all the time. People paint them for competitions. Like they're legit, beautiful resin display models.
Yeah, some of the best painters in the world have painted these. There's one I had not seen painted before. I hadn't even seen this model before. Lizzie.
Show me Lizzie.
Yeah. She vampire lady.
What the heck?
Yeah. That's
what category is it?
I don't know, dude. Do you think I know categories?
What'd you click on to get there?
I think it's Melanie Delone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Signature series or some shits.
There's so many.
She's like standing on the top of a little tower, and there's bats coming off, and she's vampire lady. Feels very Nosferatu, because it's a female.
Nice. So many paint jobs by Michael Pisarski.
I know. You know you make good models if, Michael Pisarski paints them, because obviously they commission him to paint them, but
right.
You commission him to paint them because they're good and people buy them. That's,
right.
It's chicken and the egg.
Dude, from that same category that you're looking at right now, the Iadola, like the big, almost like elf Roman centurion with the big mohawk, that model is sick. I've never seen that model before.
Me neither.
I really like it.
What's your tendy score on Ignis Art?
I kind of feel like this is like my vibe. So it's got to be a 9 or a 10. I'm gonna say 9.5 tendies.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give him 8.5 tendies. Amazing. We're hitting some heavy hitters now.
Yeah. We're definitely getting into our wheelhouse right now.
Yeah. The next couple are from a patron that posted them on our Patreon.
Nice.
His choices. Daniel Cariel posted these 3, and they're all fucking bangers. First one is Blacksun Miniatures.
How long has Blacksun made a new model in a while?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm scrolling through.
I'm scrolling through as well, and I've seen all these models before.
I hadn't seen the Demon Book.
The Demon Book.
Do you see Demon Book on there?
Which one's? Yeah, I've seen this model before.
Okay. Because that looks like something you'd like.
Thank you.
Oh, but they're like, you want creepy ass warmonger, scary dudes.
Bruh.
You want Vikings.
Lots of fantasy stuff.
Fantasy.
So elves and barbarians and centaurs and...
They love to do the bust where it's just like groin and below. Nah. Everything else, fully there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, they got the totally not He-Man figure.
Oh, and they have... Okay. They have Dasko the Vampire. Dasko the Vampire is not a model that was originally made by this company. It was sculpted by Pedro Fernandez Ramos, and has been around for a super long time. It's so I find it so interesting how model sculpts change hands, because like
Right.
there's so much sharing going on in like display model like companies. Like when one goes down, another goes up. Like there was a company a while ago called Empyrotech that like lost all their figures, and then like Scale 75 or some other company like absorbed them. I don't know how that works out, but it's very
Right.
cool, and I like that the models still exist. And Dasco's he's a cool vampire.
He a good vampire.
He good vampire.
Oh
they
yeah,
have
I bought that one originally.
Dasco?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I have Dasco.
You can tell too, because like I know which models are Blacksun models, and then you get to the bottom of like these weird kind of like gnome and fawn like
Yeah,
busts, and it's like this does not feel like a Blacksun model.
No.
But I've never seen it before, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these are the new models for the range.
Yeah, they're in stock. There's a totally different aesthetic, but I kind of dig it. It's a wide variety.
So, I don't know if you remember when I painted this, but I've painted this model. And I didn't really paint it. This was when I painted a challenge with Jazza.
Oh,
And his challenge was to paint a model using exclusively an airbrush, like no paintbrushes for any part of the paint process. So I didn't really paint it. But I remember painting that guy. It was
You put paint on it.
I did put paint on it.
Yeah.
You painted it too, actually. We both painted a Blacksun miniature.
Okay. All right. What's your thought on Blacksun as a whole? This is a nice
I
catalog.
painted this one. Aura, the Night Huntress.
Oh, okay.
I called her Tally.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That was nice. You did a good job.
Man, I love this company. Oh, see, this is another one that's not a Blacksun model. Interesting. Okay. I give this 8.5 tendies.
Yes, it has such
Yes.
a wide variety. Yes, it does not quite. You got to do a lot to get 9 tendies for me, and this does not quite get there, but it's very close, and it is amazing, and everyone should go check them out.
Oh, definitely.
8.5 tendies.
This is one that's like I have like an ongoing Google Doc of like companies that I like. Blacksun's been on that list for fucking ever.
Here's another one that's on that list.
Oh, you bet it.
You
bet it. What?
You bet it.
You bet it.
You bet it. Blackcrow Miniatures. Never not banging. That's how I have to describe Blackcrow Miniatures. Every single thing, whether it fits your aesthetic or not, they've got a wide variety. So there's going to be something that you love in here. But even if it's not my jam, I still am like, that's really freaking cool.
Bro.
So
35 euros for a solid bust.
that's
a great price.
you get value. You get value.
The Wraith King bust is 20 euros. What?
Hot damn.
Hot
Yeah.
diggity damn.
We both got one of those guys. One of their undead dudes.
Yeah.
I think it's not. I think it's under Legends, so not available anymore.
Yeah.
Just the Wraith, which neither of us have painted yet.
No.
But we could.
Yeah, we could have wanted.
I did paint one of these busts for my mom that was actually sculpted by Lucas Pina. But it's
Oh yeah, Cormac.
Cormac, yes. I painted Cormac. Beautiful. So much amazing stuff on here. Octavius, I love that. The Great Wizard model.
A lot of great paint jobs too from really amazing painters.
Yes. The Caranthier, their wood elf dude is fucking awesome.
Show me the wood up, dude.
He's got a bow.
That tracks.
Come on. Center. Get in here. Come on. There he is.
Oh yeah, that model's awesome.
It's got him. 9 out of 10 tendies for Blackcrow Miniatures.
I'm right there with you. This is definitely a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Now here's one I hadn't heard of before. Don't have a lot of models, but really solid quality. Again, Daniel Carroll coming in hot with a suggestion of Baobab.
Baobab. This is one I've never heard of. Okay. Oh.
You will recognize at least one of the models, maybe more.
The Dwarf Slayer guy.
The Dwarf Slayer guy. I've seen a lot of that Nurgle guy with the trident around.
I've never seen him.
I see him on Instagram.
I've seen the giraffe in the throne.
He comes to Culver sometimes.
His name's Lenny.
Yeah. Lenny, go back to your throne. Get your Butterburger. Get the hell out of here. You're freaking everyone out because you're a giraffe person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 models. That top one, the minor one, is brand new. Yeah. Cool stuff. Kind of a person to keep an eye out for.
Right,
It's
yeah.
really high quality stuff. And if you like it, you're going to like this stuff. If you're like, oh, man, I like orcs on oxen. Let me tell you what.
This is like I mentioned last time that I like to paint models from IPs that I'm familiar with. That helps to kind of have more joy during the painting process. And so if you're like a Warhammer painter and you like painting dwarves and stuff, and you want to get into the world of painting display models, it helps to paint like a dwarf like from that world, but just larger. It kind of helps to bridge the gap a little bit. And so if you want a Slayer display model, like, dude, Baobab's got you, dude.
Yeah. High quality, definitely worth being on the radar. 8 tendies all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 tendies. We need a bigger catalog to get a higher score IMO.
Yeah. Yep. Next one is Creepytables, baby.
I know Creepytables.
We know Creepytables. Creepytables, you want like feels a little bit Pixar-y.
Mm-hmm.
In a good way.
A little bit lighter. In most subjects, they choose the sculpt and stuff like that.
Very careful.
Cozy. Our good buddy Dave Coel painted Cozy with the cup. You remember that paint job, dude?
Oh yeah,
bro. This model's been painted a lot. This model has been targeted by a lot of painters just as a good opportunity to like express some awesome blending or some cool lighting choices and stuff like that. Big open spaces, big eyes, dude.
A lot of room for activities.
A lot of room for activities.
Yeah, that model is just a playground for you to express yourself in.
Mm-hmm. Also La Shera.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed that I didn't buy that because I don't know if you can get it anymore.
Yeah,
it's at least out of stock for now, but maybe they'll bring it back. But
it's like a
Dia de los Muertes.
Yeah, it's got a big, awesome sombrero on, a snake kind of coiling around her shoulders. Her lips have been kind of like sewn together. Not like the actual lips, but like the sides. They had like a big like Joker-esque smile cut in them and then sewn back together. It's kind of like a zombie vibe going on.
There's a term for it. There's an official term for what that means. That like,
oh, is there?
Yeah, it's something smile. It's giving somebody the something smile.
Okay.
And that means that you fucking cut the corners of their mouths out. I'm sure down in the comments, one of the goody peepees knows what that term is, and they will share it with us so we can have it. But just a fun place to hang out, Creepytables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
I just want to hang out here.
Wait,
got some
can you buy the STL?
STL 3-pack.
You can buy the STL of La Shera for €7, bro.
Dude, you can get Cozy, La Shera, and Hedgehog Girl.
Nice.
For $15, €15.
That's
all
pretty,
3 STLs.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, actually.
Oh yeah, I like that they offer that. I might get some of these. I'm just gonna fill up my cart. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fill up my cart.
Your internet cart. There's just one cart.
Just one cart. I'm gonna say, oh wow, Cursed, which is Medusa.
Ooh.
Damn. Okay, this is not good audio. We should talk. How many tendies?
7.
7 tendies. I'm gonna give 8 tendies for Creepytables.
8 tendies.
The last one here, Yoshi Wiseful told us Etsy.
Just all of Etsy?
Yeah, Etsy.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh. I put it on the list. Etsy.
Okay.
If you want to just I haven't been to Etsy lately to look for models, but Etsy is a place where people have Etsy stores where they buy like the I can buy a storefront of STL files, so I get all these files, I 3D print them, and then I sell you the 3D prints kind of a thing out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's legit. I put it on there for a reason, partially for the joke, but partially because like you don't have a 3D printer, you don't want to get into all that mess, but it's like you see cool stuff that's out there and you want to like dig and find cool models, but you don't know where to like actually purchase them. Find the name of the model, the place that you like, and go to Etsy, type it in, because I've found that it's kind of a Wild Wild West desperado location to actually like where to like search just on Etsy itself. Mm-hmm. You kind of got to know, but you can dig around and get some great stuff on Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you guys came up with. You guys have good ideas? Tell us.
We got the rate Etsy on a scale of 1 to 10 tendies.
I give it.
How do you rate this? Can you rate eBay for me? A marketplace.
I give Etsy 4 out of 10 tendies.
I found some sick Dune STL miniatures on Etsy.
I wish it was more user-friendly to find cool stuff.
It's hard, yeah, because obviously Etsy's not necessarily designed for miniatures. Maybe like my mini factory is, so a little bit harder to find stuff. But yeah, definitely some good things on there.
Yeah, again, if you don't want to have to print it yourself, it's the place to go.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the end of the podcast. You just went to the after party. How could you? You were invited.
Yeah, we even sent out brochures and shit.
Yeah, but you got to give us money though. There's a door fee.
Oh, that's right. You got to pay the guy at the door.
Yeah.
You got to pay the guy at the door.
His name is Pat.
Yeah, you got to name.
His name is Pat. Last name is Rion.
Oh, God damn it. I didn't even see that happening.
Woo! Came in like a stealth bomber. If you enjoyed this podcast, thank you for enjoying it. We really appreciate your enjoyment. If you want to immortalize that enjoyment in the form of a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, we really appreciate that. Sharing this podcast with your nerd friends, another great way to support the podcast without spending your hard-earned dollary dues. We mentioned the Patreon earlier, but you can also support us through buying some of our merch. Links down below. Our Teespring has a bunch of fun t-shirts, cups, all kinds of pants.
Really?
Pants is probably the number one item. No, it's not. There's like, I think a pair of sweatpants, though, isn't there?
There's at least one pants.
That's a great way to support our podcast. I used to say that our podcasts run an ad every 30 minutes until I read a comment like last week that was like, is there an ad every 5 minutes? Is this the future of TUP? I'm like, what the fuck? And so then I went and looked at the last 3 episodes and they have an ad every 5 minutes. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And so I deleted them all, added one every 30 minutes. I told Alex, I was like, can you put an ad every 30 minutes? She's like, I do every single time. And I'm like, God fucking damn it, Google, being so overzealous with the ads.
Yeah.
On the account, I have automatic mid-rolls disabled on the entire account. And they're still doing it.
Yeah, YouTube's done something recently where it just fucking rapid fires them.
It doesn't work for a podcast. You can't have an ad every 5 minutes on a 2-hour-long podcast.
I know. Because not every viewer gets every ad, but when they're so often, you get like a certain percentage of those.
I know, like every like 8 minutes or 10 minutes, that'd be too much for a 2-hour-long conversation. So I'm sorry if you experienced that. I didn't think I was lying, but it turned out that I was.
I lied to myself about lying.
But yeah, those are all the ways you can support the podcast if you feel inclined.
Thank you. We're going to be back in a fortnight, and we're looking forward to that. You should be looking forward to that too. So we'll see you then. Until then, catch you on the
Flippity flop.